HTB family, how's it going? Welcome to Hold the Ball. Hope you guys are well. Thank you again for tuning in, for joining in. I've got a very special episode today, actually. I've actually got none other than Andrew here, part of the Toronto City Saints. I'm not going to introduce him, right? I'll let him introduce himself. So, Andrew, again, thank you for your time. Bro, over to you. What's been happening? What's going on? And who are you?
Perfect. Yeah. I'll start, I guess, with who I am. So, Andrew Jaguar, Director of Development over at the Toronto City Saints, based in Toronto, Ontario. Been playing rugby league now for 10 plus years with the City Saints. What we're trying to do is we're trying to grow the game in Canada and kind of go on the back of the Wolfpack when they disbanded. And we got a lot of fun things going on. I've played fullback personally, and as a team, yeah, we got a solidified group, and we're playing some U.S. and some international teams coming up.
Awesome. And look, you touched on it as well, right? The Wolfpack. Obviously, you guys have no association with them. Is that correct?
Yeah, no association with them.
Okay. So can you please give us fans here a bit of a rundown of your club, the history, when you guys formed, all that stuff? Please give us a bit of a background into who you guys are.
Yeah, so we're the oldest active rugby league club in Canada, formed in 2010. Kiwi Jamie Lester actually was the one who formed the club. He did a lot for Canadian Rugby League back then. The Saints, if you're wondering where that comes from, it comes from our first set of kit was actually from St. Helens. They gave us some of their old kit, and we managed to just basically go from there, run with that, and then we adopted a blue and white color scheme. It's kind of the Toronto color scheme. Since then, we've won the ORL competition a number of times, and we've got a bunch of players representing Canada and a couple other countries. I think right now we've got 5 countries represented. So England, Denmark, Wales, Canada, Jamaica, and then America for guys who've been capped. So that's pretty exciting for us.
And did you mention was it the ORLs that you just meant? Is that your
league
national competition? Oh, okay, the league.
Yeah, that's the league.
Okay, so look, I know you don't like talking about opposition, right? Generally, you don't. But can you please give us a bit of information? Who are the other teams involved in the ORL?
Yeah, so the ORL, Ontario Rugby League. Okay. Right now, we got a 3-team competition. So we have Brampton Beavers, and then we have the Brantford Broncos. The team, the kind of league fluctuates. At the most, we've had 6 teams. At the least, we've had 2. COVID really, hampered things here. We were, locked down, didn't play sports for 2 years. So we're kind of building back. This is a 3-team comp. Next year, we're planning to have the Centurions back, which will be 4 teams. But yeah, normally we play in the spring, and then we have our international footy in the fall, and in the summertime we have the Ontario representative games against either American teams or anybody from the West Coast, which is the BCRL competition.
Okay. You mentioned as well, obviously, being in Canada, being from Toronto, what is rugby league like in Toronto? Look, just quickly, bit of background on myself. I'm an avid NBA fan. I follow the Toronto Raptors, actually, ironically. So I follow them very fluidly. Big fan, Scotty Barnes, OG Anunoby, it is what it is. But just to get back to rugby league, what's rugby league like in Toronto? Is there much popularity? And then on top of that as well, how's the grassroots development?
Yeah, so I would say it's a niche sport, right? We have like you said, the Raptors, we got the Leafs, we have the Blue Jays, the Argos, the FC. So the Wolfpack were below all them in terms of popularity, but where they played, it's kind of just a college dorm for 30-year-olds. It's it's a really good atmosphere spot. Like there's a lot of bars, and so the Wolfpack kind of leveraged that and allowed rugby league to grow from a fan base. So we got a lot of fans, the City Saints now, who were Wolfpack supporters. So there is still that appetite for rugby league in the city. In terms of the grassroots game, we have a lot of transitioning players from football and American football, Canadian football, and then a lot of rugby union code swappers. They find out about our game because we play in the spring before the rugby union season in Ontario. So people, it's a good preseason okay, let's get a couple games. Let's get in a season and try rugby league. And then they get hooked, and then they end up wanting to play more and more.
All right, no, that is pretty good, and yeah, it is what it is, I suppose. Right, rugby league in Toronto. I guess the other question is how are you guys going about promoting yourselves in Toronto, and then on top of that, obviously Canada as a whole, and I suppose even in a wider context internationally. So how do you guys go about that stuff? Is it taking small steps, big steps? What are you doing to ensure that the Toronto Saints is spread out wide, basically?
Yeah, so for the Saints, for us, it's about finding players. So us leveraging our contacts in terms of different union teams, different other sports clubs. We maybe bring people out. They once people play the game, they love it. As soon as we can get them on the field, they love it. As soon as they get them into practice and going for a pint after, people really enjoy it. So in terms of, it's really word of mouth. Trying to get it out there, trying to get people on the social medias, if it's Instagram, if it's Twitter, if it's Facebook, getting active in the expat community too. We got, Aussies in Toronto. We have a Brits in Toronto group. There's all these different groups. So we post in there, and we find to get a bit of popularity out of that. And then in terms of growing the game outside of players, really through our sponsors, we have a couple of bar sponsors, a cafe sponsor, just trying to get, again, the Saints logo out there and get our brand out there, if it's apparel, if it's kit, whatever it may be, so that people, hear about it in the rugby union, rugby league community in Toronto.
Yeah, look, that's the reality, right? Obviously, because rugby union is much more popular than rugby league in Canada, you've got to rely on Big Brother there. And I hate using that term, but it is what it is. I am not a rugby union fan at all. I have, it is what it is. But look,
yeah.
in saying that, you mentioned players who are new to the game coming in and enjoying themselves. Can you please just give me some, I suppose, a bit of an example of players who come in, like feedback and what their thoughts are generally? Have you had anyone, say, for example, who's had nothing to do with rugby league, come and play and absolutely enjoy it? Like, what is it like with those experiencing rugby league for the first time in Toronto?
Yeah, like I'll give you the most recent story and then probably a best success story. So most recent stories, last night we had training right down in University of Toronto in their indoor dome because it was snowing outside. And we had a new guy come out and try rugby league and, roll through the tackle technique, all the different, the ruck piece, right? They these guys who transition from union who've never really seen league before, they just, they jump off immediately. Like, no, man, like lay on. I'm like, we got to play the ball down. And once he got it, he really enjoyed himself. So that's probably the most recent piece of that. The best success story is actually somebody coming from no rugby background at all. He played basketball and he said, yeah, I want to try, I know one of your guys, I want to try rugby league, and comes out. Now he's, he's played with the Saints for 5 or 6 years now. No contact sports ever before stepping on the field with us. And he actually just went straight into a game. We just were short guys, so we just chucked him right on the field as a wing. And he did well. So he's been with us for 5 years now.
Awesome. That's good. And that is rugby league, right, in a nutshell. It's about bringing people together, experiencing and having a good time playing rugby league, as you mentioned. Obviously, the after rugby league stuff as well is good, getting together, having a beer, conversations, memories. Are there any plans, and again, you can, or you can answer, so you don't have to. Are you in talks with the USA in terms of teeing up matches, or are you guys still just trying to find your own feet? What's the go there in terms of the other American leagues?
Yeah, so we got coming up April 1st, we got a game down in Cleveland. We're playing Cleveland Rugby League. So Monte Gaddis, who's always good at promoting things. So we're taking on Monte and going down to Cleveland. Hopefully they'll return the favor this summer and come up to Toronto. We have Delaware, again, part of the new comp there in the Northeast. They're coming up to play us in June. So that'll be really good. And we have another U.S. team coming up in August to play us. Can't announce that one yet, but they're coming up then. And then I think it's pretty confirmed thus far, but I think we got actually an international team coming over to tour just short in October, at the start of October. And they're going to tour and play the Saints and play Canada, I hope, and once we get that Canada piece lined up. And then we're already talks for 2024 summer to try to get a couple of the European English teams or Irish teams coming over just going on a tour. And we've done that before, like in 2014, 2015, we had a couple of clubs come over, their U21 side and their development sides come over and kind of go on a social tour, enjoy Toronto and play a couple games against either Canada or the Ontario rep team.
That's pretty cool. And with you guys as well, you obviously mentioned Canada. Are you guys affiliated with the actual governing body of rugby league in Canada, or are you guys separate too? I know it gets a little bit weird because then politics is somewhat involved, particularly in America. I know that for sure is happening. What's it like in Canada?
Yeah, so we're in the ORL, Ontario Rugby League structure. They report to the CRL, which is the Canadian Rugby League. So yeah, we're under their governing body. So whenever we go down the avenue of getting a game, we have to make sure it's if it's exterior from the ORL, we have to make sure it's sanctioned and they give us approval. They're really good. Look, they basically said to me, go out, get as many games as you can. We're not going to tell you to, you can't play somebody because of whatever's going on behind the scenes. If you guys want games, go get games and sort it out. So they're being really good that way.
I see. And obviously, I've got here below, follow the Toronto City Saints, right? You guys are, do you guys, sorry, I may have accidentally put it down, but do you guys plan on showing any of your matches on YouTube potentially? Do you guys have a channel there? Is that in the works? What's the go there?
Yeah, we got a YouTube channel. I'm not the most tech savvy, so the streaming, I got to figure out how to do live and get, a contact in that. So if there's anybody listening to the podcast who knows anything about streaming live games, send us a DM, help me out that way. We will be filming the Cleveland game and having it up either live if I can pull it off or after the fact on the YouTube channel. And then the other games, again, the goal is to get them all live, but I think probably more realistic for this year is get them all uploaded to YouTube, highlight clips on Instagram and Facebook as well.
Awesome, man. So there you guys see that? The HABO, help a brother out. He's looking there for help. You guys know what to do. Please definitely feel free to have a yarn there with Andrew. Also, just a bit of a different, you may have introduced or may have not, but what is your experiences with rugby league? How did you come to the game? What position do you play? Why do you love it? All that stuff there, Andrew.
Yeah, so my high school coach, he was a Samoan who played rugby league, and he played for the Saints along with the assistant coach. And I was just like, they said, hey, come on out, try it out. And I tried it out and then got involved and got hooked and got an opportunity to play for Canada a couple of years back as well. So I play fullback. Played with the Wolverines a couple times, which is fantastic. And just, that's kind of how I got into it. Just, the guy who introduced me to rugby union introduced me to rugby league. And then I like rugby league a lot better. I'm going to be honest.
Of course.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
It's an easy decision.
That's it. So you've actually got some international caps under your wing. That is awesome. Can you please tell us, what does it feel like putting on that jersey for your national team?
Oh, it's awesome. It's fantastic. Doing it at home in front of a crowd is amazing as well. I've done it out in BC. So we played, probably one of the cooler experiences, not an international full cap game, but we played the New Zealand Police Force. They came up and toured Canada. And so we played them and they did a haka, which was pretty neat to be wearing the Canada jersey and have them do the haka against us. And then we went over to Serbia and did a tour in Serbia. And that was a great 10 days. We played 3 games in Serbia and just what a great time it is. You wear the jersey. That's kind of the ultimate goals for the Saints as well. We want to, we have the World Cup qualifiers coming up in November this year. So our goal from the Saints is to produce as many people to that qualifying team as we can. I mean, the goal is to have at least 5 guys from our team go down to Jamaica and play Jamaica, Brazil, and the US.
That's pretty cool there. And again, thanks again for a bit of a lowdown on your background, how you came to rugby league. Do you watch Super League? Do you watch NRL? What are your experiences there?
I'm an NRL guy. I have the NRL Live subscription. There's a bunch of us that have it. So I think actually most of us are NRL guys, unless they're English background, then they watch Super League. But yeah, I'm an NRL guy. I see the Warriors there. I'm a big John Snickle Klokstad fan, huge fan of him. So yeah. big Warriors guy.
Oh, so that is your team you actually support?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, I like Roger back in the day, and then Sean Johnson back in the day. That's when I started watching NRL, and then now Chons has always been one of my favorite players, and now he's with the Warriors. So it's wicked.
that is gangster. So there you go, guys. Warriors fans there. Andrew is an NRL dude, and he actually follows the Warriors. That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
So this year, just season as well, before we sort of wrap things up as well, this season, are you following the season closely as well in the NRL?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I just actually watched the Matty John show. I just finished watching that, getting caught up.
Oh, that's cool. No, it's good. It's good to know that you're really into it. Look, I've also been seeing on Twitter and Instagram as well, you guys have been promoting some of your clothing. Can you please tell me about your clothing, how to buy it? Where do I start? Where do we start, Andrew? Please give us the info.
Yeah. If anybody's looking to purchase, we're trying to support. One of our biggest expenses for the year is our dome time. So we're in indoor domes this time of year because there's snow. So we're selling memberships. The memberships are hoodie, polo, the training top I'm wearing, and our running hats, our training hats. So if you want a membership, either send the Saints a message on Instagram or on Twitter, and we'll get back to you. We'll sort out how to get the money to us, and we'll send out that kit to you. And we got sizes from small to double XL, whatever you may need, and we'll get you some kit.
That's awesome, Az. Look, I've got two more questions to ask. One, what is the ultimate, I suppose, goal in terms of the Toronto City Saints, right? Like, what do you envision in the future, if that makes sense for you guys? Is it having more teams participate, and then having a bigger league, bigger teams? What do you sort of envision there, Andrew?
The short term, so the 12-month goal for us to play a couple American teams and touring teams this year, and to get at least 5 members of the Saints down to Jamaica for the World Cup qualifier. That's our 12-month kind of goal. And then our 5-year goal is probably get the ORL to a 5-team competition, back to a 5-team competition, and have the Saints just dominate that and every week.
That's it, every week, winning premiership after premiership.
Oh, yeah.
Look, last question as well. Why should the fans support the Toronto City Saints? Sell it. Why? Why should we? Why should we follow you guys instead of the other 2 teams? Why you guys?
Well, one, we're the oldest rugby league club that's active in Canada. So, I mean, we've got the most storied history. Currently, we've got the most experience. We've got, Matty Barron, who's played in the Rugby League World Cup for Wales. We've got a number of Canadian international caps, and we've got some really good talent that we've been poaching from rugby union. So we play a hard hitting up the middle, and then we got some footwork on the outside. And I think if you're looking to support any team in Ontario or Canada or North America, there's no choice but to support the Saints, because we are the best. I think you'll see that when we play down in Cleveland and when we play Delaware. We're they've got a tough choice playing the Saints.
That's awesome, as there. So, guys, you've heard that there. That's why you guys should support the Toronto City Saints. And I'll leave their description and all their merch promotion stuff in the description as well. And I'll also share that stuff on my Instagram as well as YouTube as well. So, again, stay tuned for that. Look, before you close off as well, any sort of last words you want to say, or is there anything that I may have not touched on that you want to sort of touch on before we leave?
No, the only thing I'd say is if anybody listening's got any connections to rugby league out in Ontario, Toronto, anywhere around that, send us a message, get involved, whatever it may be in any capacity, fan, player, coach. We're eager to have people interested in the Saints and get whatever relationship that is developed.
Awesome, as Andrew, thank you again for your time, and thanks again for sharing with us your passion for not only rugby league, but also sharing your passion for the Toronto City Saints, and I'm sure the rugby league in Canada as well. I'm hoping that we can see you grow, develop, and progress as the months go by, and we'll definitely be looking to, eagerly waiting to see how you guys sort of pan out as well, and we cannot wait to watch your stuff. Again, Andrew, thank you again for your time. We appreciate it very much. And guess what, guys? Andrew and the Toronto City Saints know how to hold the ball. That is right. Take it easy. See you guys next time. Thanks again, bro.
Thanks, man.